to another diving adventure. Today we're going to be looking at the west coast of the Lizard, which is this area along here behind me. This area of coastline, which stretches from Porthlevin in the north down to Lizard Point in the south, holds a number of interesting wrecks and several protected sites. The majority of these wrecks are old sailing vessels. The whole of this side of Mounts Bay used to act as a giant sailing ship trap, with vessels taking shelter here from northerly or easterly gales. The wind would sometimes swing around to the south or southwest, and the sailing vessels would be trapped within the bay, unable to tack clear of Lizard Point, and would often get wrecked against the shore here. I'm diving today with David Gibbons, who is licensed to dive several of these historic protected sites along this coast. We are going to start by looking at the wreck site of the President, a ship which struck the rocks here in 1684 while carrying a rich cargo, most of which has not yet been found. This site was first reported by divers 20 years ago, but its position was lost over time until it was relocated by Dave in 2018. The cannons here show abrasion damage being in such shallow water, with many missing the normal features you would expect to see. Nearby, a well-worn anchor and a pair of cannon mark the centre position of the wreck area. This site is a protected site, so we are only monitoring today for sand level changes and potential disturbance from the winter storms. We will have to go elsewhere along the coast to be able to look for some treasure, but this is still an impressive sight, with cannon resting in almost every gully. We are going to head further down the coast now towards Mullion, where another old wreck was recently rediscovered. The Santo Christo de Castello was first located here back in the 60s, but was found to be resting right in front of the local sewerage discharge outfall. Luckily for us, this sewer pipe is no longer in use, and although plenty of diving did take place here, there are still some things to be able to find. These cannon were dropped here when the wreck went to pieces in 1667, and unlike the wreck of the President, the seabed here is made of hard stones and shingle, which would seem to be more abrasive. Several of the guns on site are so worn away that the barrel inside is now exposed, and some of them are barely recognisable as cannon. This wreck site was nicknamed the Mullion Pinwreck by those who found it. This was due to the wreckage material here still holding many small brass pins within it. It was within this concretion, after one of the recent storms, which we made an amazing discovery. Exposed within the gully was this small ornate object, which turned out to be a model bronze cannon. Left in this position, it was only going to get more worn away, so we made the decision to recover the item, which we'll show you more of later on. We are heading back up the coast now to Gumwallow, where another recently found site has turned up a few interesting items from another unknown old wreck. Around this exposed headland lies another cannon site, with several iron guns that are often partially buried within the soft sand.
We're lucky today because the cannon are exposed. We're going to have a detector around them now, see what we can find. It's within this area here we've been finding some nice silver coins. We'll give it a go. There should be something here to be able to find. A cofferdale. It's not a coin, but it's a start. It's a good sign we're in the right area. coin. They're hard to spot my eye as they're oxidised black and often have sand stuck to them.
So we just got out of the water. We managed to find a couple more coins, which is quite good. Show you here. They are 3 more silver ones. They're quite worn, but there is still some detail on them, so we'll give them a clean in a minute and see what's on them. Okay, we're all back now, and we're going to show you some of the finds that we've made along the west side of the Lizard. Okay, so starting off, this is the little small cannon that we found on the Pinwreck, and it's a lovely little ornate piece. It was a really good find. That I thought it was the end of a candlestick sticking out here, but when we found it in the concretion, and it's an awesome find. It's actually got a barrel which is filled with rubbish, but it's even got its own little touch hole there, so you might have even been able to fire it. And then we've got some little fastenings here. These are copper nails and copper tacks. Got 3 different sizes here. That's the larger one. It's one with a nice big head on it, and then there's quite a few of these little small ones down there in the gullies. What they held together must have long since gone. We've got some musket balls. They're all quite battered, but enough to see what size they were. And then there's the coins. These are the coins that we've been finding on this site. A lot of them are very worn away. They've all been abraded by the sand and worn away during the winter storms and that, but a lot of them have still got some nice detail on. These 2 in particular were the best ones yet. They're in really good condition. You can clearly see the markings on those ones. So these are Portuguese coins, and they date from between 1590 and 1620, and they're good because on this side you can see the shield there, and they've got LB. You can see the B really clearly on that one, but that's for Lisbon. That's where they were minted. There's probably some better examples. There are, look. You see the LB on the shield, and they say they've also got Philip on them as well. And here we have that's one that I haven't cleaned up yet. So that's a silver coin, which is actually caught in a load of those copper nails that we saw earlier. So that's an interesting one. I thought I'd leave it within this lump I found it. That goes to show how sometimes we find things like that. You find everything stuck together, and then these coins haven't been cleaned yet. So hopefully these will show some nice detail when we clean them up. But this is how you actually find them down there. They're very gone black and tarnished, but you can still see what they are, and every now and then you still get a bit of detail on. You can just make out the cross on that one. So it's yeah, it's good to find them. Well, thanks for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed the treasure we have been finding down in Mounts Bay. We still don't actually know which wreck this silver coin site is yet, so we'll continue to dive the site and maybe turn up a few bits, and we'll be searching the archives for any mentions of old long lost wrecks along that coast. And we'll catch you next time for the next video.